All right, welcome back. We're getting ready to start our advertising panel. And before we do, I want to just kind of introduce you to people so you know where they're from. Again, I'm Seth from Seacoast Church in Charleston. This is Jason. He is from the Potter's House. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of his pastor or not, but we'll figure that out later. Jason's from West Side. And then we have Ephraim, and Ephraim's from Saddleback. So you guys have got some heavy hitters on the stage today with these three. So anyway, let's get right to it. We got some fun questions. We are going to talk about Google grants, just so some of you guys are excited about that. We will talk about advertising on Google a little bit in Facebook. But so let's get going right off the get-go. How do you advertise? What's your best way of advertising for you? Is it Facebook? Is it Google? Is it none of them? Which, Jason, go.
Actually, for us, it's a mix between Facebook and Twitter. So those would be the top.
Wow, I would have never expected that.
Yeah. So I'll say half and half. Yeah, Facebook and Twitter.
Well, for us, it's Google Ads, and it's the paid ones.
Nice. Ephraim.
Yeah, for our pastor, it's definitely Twitter. For those of he often says, if you're not following me on Twitter, you go to hell. You know, but it's a joke. So for our pastor, it's Twitter, and for me personally, we have had most success on YouTube.
Cool. All right, so we do basically we do some Twitter and Facebook stuff, but our big one's the Google grants, the Google ads that we pay for, and Google Grant. One thing that's I feel really important to understand is what we call your digital footprint. All right, his pastor is T.D. Jakes. So when T.D. Jakes says, hey, we're live streaming, guess what? Through the roof. When Rick Warren says, we're live streaming, guess what? Through the roof. So they don't necessarily have to spend the money.
My pastor doesn't even have a Facebook or a Twitter, so that's just how it goes.
So that's how it goes. So so we're talking about way differences in churches here, so you kind of pick where you're at. I can definitely tell you a spike in attendance whenever our pastor tweets, our head tweets something. So just kind of know that right there. So what has been the best result for you ad-wise? For example, the best ad I ever ran, we did a Q&A session, and our subject was gay marriage. So we ran an ad for gay marriage. What does the Bible say about it? By far the best ad, return for dollar, that we've ever ran. So kind of curious is what's been the best for you guys?
But that's the best ad you've run?
That's the best ad I ran.
On what keywords did you run that on?
Gay marriage, gay, bisexual, heterosexual, homosexual. I mean, all the words that are with it.
Right.
And we didn't run. To me, I've personally found that I don't do a lot of keywords when I do a specific ad. So I don't put in, like, if I run a gay marriage ad, I'm not going to do 40 or 50 keywords. I want this niche.
And that works?
It works for me, yeah. All of my ads are in the top 1%, 1 ranking, or 1.5 with the lowest ranking for all the ads I run.
Okay. Because that's the exact opposite of what I do. And I'm just curious. I want to see your numbers.
No, you don't. No, but numbers and what? Are we going to go at it again, Jason? Is that what you're hoping for?
It's happening.
We can. You might just scoot on back. No, let's talk about. So for you guys, what's worked best for you? Either like one ad that's worked the best, or one tweet, or one Facebook, or what's worked the best, and why? And why do you think?
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's funny you say that you do the complete opposite, because I think I could say that as well. I've never actually used ads. We have used ads at Saddleback, and they're also always pretty generic. But one of the rule of thumbs, in just general marketing, that we use most is at the edge where people stand in line. For example, when when the Hummer first came out, everybody wanted it. It's because it's an edgy thing. So when you do edgy stuff, that's where people stand in line. Now, of course, you can do edgy without being wrong. You just have to, you have to surprise people in a very unique, interesting way. We started a cookie business once, and just, there are hundreds and thousands of cookies out there. Every restaurant has them. So we thought, how are we ever going to sell this cookie? And so we called it the world's best cookie, because it's impossible to disprove, and it's a bold claim. And so the first few events that we did, people were just standing in line saying, I want to try the world's best cookie. Or they ask you, very skeptically saying, why is this the world's best cookie? And then I had a whole spiel ready, that made them all just watery inside. And then, they wanted to get it. So for ours, the rule of thumb is do something slightly extreme, if you will.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, I know one I can think about because we use if you look at something like a promoted post, we had a post that was asking about where this is when LeBron was doing the decision. All right, so where should LeBron go? And we were asking like Cleveland, Miami, Chicago, or Manpower, which is our men's conference. And the response from that was really, really, really good. So we saw we got good engagement, and then you promote that, and you start to see people of friends of friends, which is the main friends of fans that are on your Facebook page, and that type of stuff starts to resonate more. And then of course you pay accordingly to how many people that it reaches out to. But that content was like what you're talking about, Ephraim. Just it just pulled people in because no matter what, that was a very polarizing topic from one side in the sports world, but from the other side of people saying, I don't think this is the church topic. Why are you guys posting that? And that was, so the topic wasn't holy enough, nearly.
Well, that
still created traffic.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's the point. Yes, absolutely,
Right.
Absolutely.
So it's a win-win.
Oh, absolutely, all around.
A quick side note to that. How would you suggest people approach their leadership about posting a question like that? Because every time I post, you guys know I probably don't post the lightest stuff on our social media. That's why they hired somebody else now. But it was sometimes we're like, well, this is what the culture is in. How do we engage the culture? Right. But I know there's some churches that, we're going to have a board meeting and call to do that. Well, how did you sell that post, or did you just do it and not worry about it?
It wasn't me. It was my manager actually told me to, hey, post this. And in the back end, no, everybody didn't agree with that. So one, we posted it without asking and just went with it, and it was a great thing. But on the back end, it was certain people that are like, hey, our church is a little conservative. Why would you post that and stuff like that? But we were kind of like, hey, it resonated, and we'll worry about any type of consequences later. So not really an ask first type deal at all.
So, no, that's great, because I think sometimes when you do that, it opens up teachable moments for people who probably haven't thought that way before. Mm-hmm. Did it turn out that way for you? Or was it just like you met opposition, it's like, no, I don't agree, or, you guys shouldn't do that, period? Or was it like an openness of mind to say, oh, I never thought of it that way? What was your response to those who initially didn't quite get it?
Oh, the response was, there was no, what you guys did, I now agree with later on, see it in hindsight, even though the results were favorable. Mm-hmm. It was more so, well, we'll just agree to disagree, and you guys got lucky.
Oh, so let me get this straight. If you would have posted it and it didn't go favorably,
oh yeah, I told you.
Like
so.
It didn't make any hits, and and it was just like tumbleweeds.
Right.
Your response would have been different.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
But then they paid to promote it, so don't forget that part.
Promote a post.
Yeah, we'll post. Cool. That's great.
My best ad is addicted to porn. Find help on Church Online. That's it. And you can imagine the keywords.
Can you give us a list of the? No, I'm kidding.
I can tell you the two top ones.
Yeah, we're good. We caused enough trouble.
All right.
So you don't do Google Ads too much, or you do?
No, not nearly as much.
And Ephraim, you don't do Google Ads.
Actually, we do have it running. Yeah, we have about $50 a day or so at this current time. But
what would you say is your? Do you know about your click-through rate?
I don't. No, I don't.
It's curious. Well, because we had a Google ad person call us, and like the average is 0.01%, and our click-through rate's about 1%. So it's about 0.9 to 1%, which frustrates the devil out of me. Yeah. It's good compared to their standards, but
right. You just got to understand that the scale, the economies of scale, are totally different. Like I know that I have a very successful ad when I get 2 to 2.5%. CTR, click-through rate.
Well, here's my leading question. That is, are we being wise with our money to be spending it the money on Google? No, listen, let me fill this question. Okay. Don't yell at me like I yelled at the other guy yesterday.
All right.
Is it? In other words, if we're spending $1,000 to run ads and the click-through rate is 99% of them are going, could we use the money better in another ad way that will produce more people? You see what I'm saying there? I'm just wondering I'm wondering if Google is the best way to spend the ads.
Well, here's the thing that I like about certain types of Google ads. You only pay for the ad that works. So you pay for the click, right? So I'm not paying. It's a different mentality where before, when you had any type of advertising, you're spending money and you don't really know what the return is. Yeah. With a Google ad that's properly designed, you're only paying for it when it works. So you can experiment all day long, and then when the stuff that works comes back, then it's like, okay, this works. And then you can build upon that. So I would say all day long that Google ad money is worth it because it puts somebody in contact with the message that everyone desperately needs to hear.
Yeah, I think that's right. One thing's for sure, that Google ads are way more measurable for your wallet than putting up a big billboard for $10,000, next to a highway or something.
Right.
So you can at least measure exactly everything that happens. Second thing is, if you use Google ads or any type of ads, Facebook ads, that are digital, you can measure what kind of content works for you. Although I would add to that is that if you have a successful social media campaign or a successful marketing idea or PR idea, and that works, then capitalize on that with more money. If you go to Google Ads in order to find out what you're doing, you're a little bit behind the ball, but it could work. But if you already have things that you see, the whole congregation likes to post this and we've already put so many people in action, then promote that. Capitalize on what's working with your money. Or you could, throw out a net and see what works and capitalize on that. Either way, if you spend money first or if you spend money later, it's always good to tweak all the time.
Right.
Cool, good. All right, let's see what kind of questions we got. So, do you guys advertise any other way besides Google? And I mean paid. So in other words, I know there's Facebook promote posts, but my thought process is emails used to be the big thing. They're going away. Billboards, I think people drive past them. I'm so bogged down.
Are you saying anything outside of digital means is what you're saying?
That,
or just
yeah, that way, or
general?
maybe a new one, because I'm just saying I'm so bombarded with stuff all the time, and I'm wondering how people, like, I had one just last weekend, one of our ads was shown 400,000 times, and we got clicked on, I think it was like 200. Mm-hmm. So, it's like, yeah, it's up there, but I wonder how people actually saw it. I'm just trying to think of ways, if we have money, because I'm thinking of the church that's got 50 people or 100 people in it, and they want to advertise their church online, they want to get started. Like, they're not going to be able to say, here's $10,000 to run with. So I'm thinking, you got $100.
Huh? They totally can. Yeah. They can say there's $10,000 to start with. It's called Google Grants for Nonprofits. Yep. And they give you $10,000 a month of free advertising while they get a tax write-off and get to inflate all the ads for everybody else. It's genius.
Yep.
Yeah, we use Twitter, as far as different advertising means. And what I like about Twitter is the drill down feature of where you're targeting who you're going after. So we take certain tweets that may be marketing related or just some that have resonated, and we start to we target them towards the audience we're going after. And now if you go into Twitter's ad dashboard, which they've been currently tweaking, it'll take you a minute. It's kind of like, going back, learning how to ride a tricycle when you were younger and stuff like that. It's kind of teaching you how to walk through that process. So I really think the way Twitter is up their advertising game and really start walking people through it and try and get on par with Facebook ads and Google ads, we're starting to see that Twitter's really stepping up. So you really should give Twitter a try and look at that. And then their pricing is very competitive as far as, cost per click. And then I think they also have a feature where you're paying for just how many times it's appearing in streams and stuff like that. But we use Twitter drilling down and targeting to the people we're going after, and it has been quite effective.
Have you ever done Facebook targeting? Because, you can run ads of this area. Because we thought about running ads around our campuses. And so running ads even on Google, running ads for Church Online around Somerville, which is where our campus is. Have you guys happen to do any of that?
Yeah, we do that a lot. We have lots of different campaigns, many of which, if they're church-related and not pain point-related, are targeted, if they're going to one of our on-site campuses, to a 15-minute driving range around there. So we can target it. And it makes our ads have fewer impressions, but a higher click-through rate. And I feel like it's better stewardship to do it that way, just in general, just to make less noise around. But at the same point, when we're talking about the online campus, that's a much broader audience. But I do still limit it to those that are English speaking, and I do limit my ads in other ways. So I don't know. It's like with the Twitter thing. Do you guys get support? Because I've thought about it, but I've never actually gone into it because it's so relatively new. Do you have someone that can kind of teach you? Do they have tutorials or stuff like that? Because sometimes getting support from Google is like trying to wrestle a hippopotamus. So what do you guys do?
Actually, for us to catch on to it, just going through the platform and trying to figure it out kind of on our own, hit or miss, we were actually able to figure out how to effectively use it. So we didn't really look for support from Twitter or tutorials or anything like that. We kind of just dove right in, and then we started measuring our results, analyze, optimize, repeat.
Okay, yeah, done, yeah.
I think, for both Twitter and Facebook are both, funny. As in, for Twitter for the longest time, I've wondered, how did they make money? I think they were hoping to get bought up for a long time or something, so eventually they finally started to doing ads. For Facebook, Facebook is also funny in the fact that it is very useful for getting announcements out, but Facebook likes to keep people on Facebook. And so I've heard a couple of things already during this conference that when you put links on it, it doesn't get shown as much. And so what we use Facebook for is, when we go out and plant a church somewhere, we target that demographic for a while. And so it's an announcement, it's coming, where people go to, eventually to that place where it's happening. So it's good in getting the word out in, a graphic or a photo that people notice. But for getting people to your specific page, I think, Google Ads or any other creative thing in the marketing mix above advertising, even PR and marketing, you can use other tools as well.
So, just like real quick, you run Facebook ads?
Yes.
You run Facebook ads?
Yes.
All right, so one thing that we've promoted, a post we've noticed, I want to see if you guys have seen this too, is we did a picture, right? And we were getting about 4,000 people to look at it. We promoted it. It went up to about 7,000 or 8,000. We promoted 2 in a row. The next 3 or 4 posts we had all went down to about 1,000 to 2,000 seen. So it seemed to be for us, whenever we promoted posts and then we stopped, they stopped showing it to more people.
Interesting.
And so I didn't know if you guys have noticed that or...
Wait, you said after you stopped promoting it?
After we stopped promoting
after
it.
After you stopped paying for it, they dropped
it. Was
it.
shown, it was shown
absolutely.
To a list.
I think, Facebook in general, I mean, they're from a business perspective, their business model is genius in terms of, for them, you get all these fans, and then we're going to pay you, or you got to pay us to access the people that you work to get. I mean, for their side, that's pretty genius. I mean, it's terrible on our side, but when we promoted stuff, immediately we get that boost, and well, you know what? They say you get a boost and the numbers go up, so you're getting a boost. But as soon as you stop, immediately they bring that back down because they want you basically to get addicted to paying and get into that mindset of, if I want an effective post, I'm going to have to pay for it. And the majority of people on Facebook will have to pay for play.
Can I add on top of that? I think that's brilliant. If you do Google Ads, it works awesome. If that's your dub, that's your groove, that's great. If you do Facebook, if that's your groove, that's awesome. I recommend doing all of them, trying all of them. One other thing is, you can think in likes, you can think in subscribers on YouTube, you can think in followers on Twitter, but also like to stress the almost old school importance of thinking in email lists. I know a lot of people find, what, emails is still going? But the thing is, when you do all this work to get people to your landing pages, you capture their email, now you can talk to them time and time again. Now, then the question is, how many times do you message them? How much can you spam then, really? But they subscribed to it, so they get that. And once your email campaigns are very creative and very new, for example, we have a small group newsletter where every month we send them a cartoon. It's like a 30-second cartoon of how do you deal with people that talk too much in your group. It's very funny. So you have this guy, and it almost looks like an alien, that talks all the time, and they try to solve it. It has some real advice in it, so people click on that and go, oh, what's this week's creative cartoon? And I know it kind of sounds old school, but if people want more, why not let them?
Yep, that's good. One of the questions we have online is, Google is the obvious default for ads. Do you consider other search engines as well? I have a...
It's real. It's
still
hard.
other ones out there? Okay.
It's really hard
Bing?
because for us, I only run ads when we are broadcasting live, especially for the types of ads that we do. I can't I can't just run them whenever, because the last thing I need is for someone who's thinking about suicide to come to our site when we're not in service and then feel one more rejection. That's not what I need to do. So for us, it's critically important that we can fire off those ads on like 15-minute increments. And these other search engines that are out there don't give me that kind of flexibility. And so then I run that risk. And because of the fact that they don't perform as well, and because I don't have that kind of control, I just stopped using it.
We used Yahoo. When you sign up for Yahoo ads, you also get Bing. Mm-hmm. And the thing is they're in 4-hour blocks. So with Google, you have the 15-minute, 10-minute window. And
right.
So it's like, yes, it was cheaper. It was cheaper
right.
per click, so that was good. But also we could have no control over when they came in.
Now, if I wanted to artificially inflate my numbers, I could do it more economically that way. But that's not helping anyone.
Yeah, we looked at search engines around the world and who was really running the internet. We saw Google was the tops all around the world, except for I think maybe I want to say China, it's Baidu or something
Asia,
like that. Right. But so basically, we looked at our ROI, and that was just the best return we could get using for the few times we have used Google.
Nice. Here's a question. In YouTube live streaming, your organization must agree to not discriminate hiring for religious purposes. Does this apply to Google grants? And if so, how do you handle that?
You looking at me? Because I
would refer that to a legal, a lawyer. Yeah.
Wow.
Listen, with
no,
Google,
I know what you mean, and I read it, and I had those guys talk to me about it, and they were like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "Okay, let's just give a particular scenario. Would a Buddhist ever try to come on staff?" They're like, "No." I said, "Then don't worry about it. Unless somebody makes an issue out of it. And even if we had a Buddhist that came on staff, I wouldn't necessarily think that would be a bad thing. I'd be all over that guy, telling him about Jesus every single day. And if he didn't like it, he knows we're a church, He knows what he's signing up for. And so I wouldn't discriminate against him because he's Buddhist. In fact, I might hire him because he's Buddhist so that I could witness to him, So that's how I would get around that. And that's the mentality that I had when I clicked that little box that says, yes, give me $10,000 of free ads.
Yep. So here's something that happened with me. I applied for the Google grant, and I heard it said, "We will send you an email."
Right.
All right. 5 months later, I've heard nothing. And then I went onto our Facebook group and put a question out, and Chris said, "Hey, try this link." So I tried this link, and then said, "Hey, you've been approved to apply for the next level," and they never sent me the email. So I could have been approved.
That happened to me too.
And so you got to know there's a couple of levels to applying to the Google grant.
Right.
And you have to set it up. They say it's very specific, but they literally run it detail by detail on how to set it up. And then they told me it would be 6 to 8 months before I heard anything back, and I was approved 3 weeks later. So apply for the Google grant. All right, everybody get that. Apply for the Google grant. It's $10,000 a month. You can't lose nothing. I think some people are starting to re-sign up again, but you guys have got the grant. You can
I had to,
over and they can
it lasts for 2 years. And so what happens is after 2 years, then you have to basically not reapply per se, but almost you have to prove that you are still a 501c3 that still exists. And there was a time when, but it was for different reasons because they made some changes that you couldn't have more than one domain on your grant. There was a time where we got suspended, and it was during the same period of time when they were looking at our 501c3 at the same time, and I didn't know what the problem was. And so it was we had to go through this whole rigmarole to figure out, first of all, what the problem was, and second of all, to fix it. But once we got it fixed and everything was fine, now I'm good for another 2 years. So, I'll run it just as long as I can. If they don't like it, they can always pull it. It's free, so it doesn't necessarily cost me anything.
So when I set mine up, I must have misunderstood, but is it U.S. only, or can you run them all over? Because I thought it was U.S. only.
Okay. Your 501c3 has to be U.S. only. So your organization has to be in the United States. Unfortunately, for those of us who know folks that are in other parts of the world. My friends in Paraguay can't apply for Google grants.
Sure.
All right. Now, my ads themselves can have a global reach, but my organization has to reside within the United States.
Cool. I'll tell you one little caveat that I found that was hidden is you have to go and manage your Google Grants at least once every 1 to 3 months. So you can't just set it and forget it. So they told us.
Why would you do that anyway?
Well, because some people say, these are the ads I want, they're working. Why change it? So if you only get $329 a day and you're spending $329 a day, it's working.
Yeah, but it always can be working better.
But
it's always changing on you, too.
Yeah.
So I think it's a mistake to not be on top of it all the time.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying that's a thing of if you set it and don't look at it anymore because you're saying, well, we're spending the full amount.
Yeah.
It's free money, great. Just be careful. Go in there and look at it.
Well, right. I have to constantly be on top of it because Google will actually recommend more keywords for me. And it'll actually make the algorithm better when I'm in there working on it. And I can also, if I find that certain keywords are performing better, I can actually get my click-through bid, my bid, I can make it smaller and smaller and smaller and find out what that magic number is on the ones that I'm paying for, or even for my grant ones for that matter, so that I actually get more click-throughs per dollar than just by setting it at the maximum amount and just letting things go. Because for me, especially some of the more controversial type of ads that we run, I only have a certain number of prayer ninjas that can field that kind of chaos. And so what I try to do is set my budgets really, really small so that I'm not capturing all the traffic that I could conceivably capture simply because we can't minister to those people in an effective way. So that's how I control it. And I can get it all the way down to, the grants is now it's maximum of $2. It used to be $1. So now we've got, it just blew up for us, right, until the rest of the market caught up to it. Again, Google is genius in inflating their numbers, right? So now on the flip side, on my paid ads, I'm doing the exact opposite, though. I'm trying to squeeze every number of clicks that I can from every single penny that I'm paying. And so if you look at the two worlds that I'm managing, my grant Google ads and my paid Google ads, they look like two totally different things. And they perform in totally different ways.
That's cool. Let's switch gears just a little bit. We had a question online that says, how about just advertising within the church? So what is the most effective way to pull your brick and mortar members online? And I don't think they mean necessarily pull them away from the brick and mortars, but hopefully. But how do you get the word out about the church online within your members? What's some effective way? Because I really think that we're trying to keep the costs down because the cost is a big deal. So what's some effective ways to do that?
Can I take that one?
Yeah.
I think, what we've noticed in Talk With Everybody is that 50% of your effectiveness is communication outside and trying to get more people, Google Ads or search engine optimization, all that. The other 50% really is internal communication with your church. If one out of two is out of balance, you'll notice that you can't build as effective a ministry. And at Saddleback Force, we have to do that a lot. To show people the numbers, show people that how big of a percentage is actually international. Those kind of things. And so those are the things that you can do. Another thing I would say is when you've gone out and reached people for Christ, that is phenomenal. Whenever you've mobilized your own people to go out and reach people for Christ, that's double awesome.
Yes.
So if you can design your campaigns in such a way that other people share it for you, so you don't even have to spend a penny, then that is an incredible win. And then you can capitalize on that even more by, promoting their posts or, those kind of things. Or taking their post and putting it on your own page.
Let me see. We use, in order for us to reach internally, first and foremost, our number one way is if we can get our pastor to say it from the pulpit. That in itself seems to resonate more than anything else.
Yeah, that's
we tried
always the holy grail.
Yeah, I know, right? And so you take the 2 or 3 things he can attempt to remember and
Right.
try and get those in.
Can we pay him to mention it? Is it cheaper to pay him from the pulpit?
It must.
It
has
might
to
be.
Yeah.
It might be.
I'll give you $500.
Yeah. And other than that, we've been able to effectively utilize what Ephraim was talking about earlier, email marketing campaigns by somehow capturing through whether their initial membership, through their asking for emails when they tithe, or somehow using effective, normal church procedures to capture their email addresses and then communicating with that. Then, of course, we've also had our tertiary approach has been our social media has a huge international following, but we have a very good local community following of our members that really connect with us on social media as they're trying to be as savvy as they see the pastor being in the leadership and where the church is going.
Very cool. I saw a hand or two pop up in the crowd here. I want to get a question or two. Carlos, what you got? The question was, what about text message ads and pushing that?
High school, junior high people in the room use SMS or Instagram. We use it all the time for our teenagers. They don't read emails. Yeah, and so we use that for them all the time. We do have, opt-ins and stuff. I don't know how well it's worked with adults, but I don't know if we've done a hard push for it either. So I can't speak into that. But for our youth ministries, it's incredibly effective.
We use SMS. We use it every single day. We have a guy who writes devotionals that are based on the sermon, and people subscribe to the God text. And so at 8:30 every single morning, boom, some people wake up to it. That's their alarm clock. And so then they read the SMS, and it's crazy how people I hear these water cooler conversations where it's like, you wouldn't believe what happened. This was happening to me. And then I got this God text, and God was just talking to me right then, And so those types of conversations are super, super great. But you got to stay on top of it. We have a guy who's super introverted, and he just writes them things and schedules them out, and we use them on SMS, and it reaches a lot of people that way.
Yeah, I forgot about that. SMS is the most effective form we have, actually one of the most effective forms. A stat I thought about was I think I heard 90% of people are more likely, you're more likely to open up a text, SMS, 90% more than anything else that you get on your mobile device. So whether it be from an app, or email, or anything, text is what you'll open 90% more than anything else that I read somewhere the other day.
That's cool. Let me ask you this, and this is just a personal thing. How do you guys, or what are your metrics for making sure that there's a difference between diversifying your ad plan and spreading yourself too thin? In other words, something else to manage. So I don't want to get people to leave here to say, well, now I've got to run ads on Google and Facebook and Twitter text messages. That's great, 90%. Let's do it. Oh, we got to email. Those still work. And so then they go back home, and it's like we have 50 things to tell them. So, do you have a metrics of what works best for you? Like, these are the 3 that we'll do, or are you always just trying? I mean, you just, you give some, you take. I'm just curious about how you manage that.
I don't understand that question.
I diversified my question.
Okay.
No, I mean, so you have 10 to 15 different ways.
Metrics.
So
I heard metrics, and then I heard
you have $500.
Okay,
right, I give you $500.
Gotcha.
How do you know where to put it first, or where to put it? So you only have $500. You could spend $500 on Google. You could spend $100 on Google, $100 on text message, $100 on Facebook, $100 on whatever.
Okay. Now I understand why I didn't understand what you were saying. So I think part of the question is the question behind the question, and for me it is, what am I trying to achieve? If I'm trying to achieve that someone comes to my online campus, I could give you one answer. But if I'm trying to achieve that someone signs up for an event, that's a different answer. And so that's why for me it's a little bit confusing, because there are certain channels of communication that work better for different types of responses that you're looking for. Does that make sense?
It does. Let's assume attendance for church online.
For church online. Done.
Church online attendance.
Google ads.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. What we would do, it would be, and it's for us, with the way ours is made up, social media would drive all that.
So by social media, you're saying Because social media is kind of a...
Oh, it is
it can
very
be
broad.
blah, 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 blah,
Okay. No, specifically social media, we would look at Facebook and Twitter would be what we would use most effective for our audience.
Okay.
And yeah, so if your pastor hands you $500 and says you're going to be the marketing guy, I would spend that $500 on Amazon on all the books you can find about marketing PR. So Guy Kawasaki, Seth Godin, and become a professional in both, marketing, PR, and advertising before you open up.
I feel so stupid.
Sorry. No, I think you're right though. But
that is genius, dude.
The best answer of the day.
Sorry. Yeah. So and then you capitalize on that. But there are guys out there doing brilliant stuff, and you need to feel what form of media comes closest to what you're most comfortable with if you're the guy going to do it. And for me, and I know I kind of sound old school as a 29-year-old, for me it's email. I love making email campaigns that just shock you. But, and then from there on branch out. Or look at what your church is most used to and branch out from there. But yeah.
Cool. Anything else? No, we got one more question on here. And Carlos, you already had a question. No, Carlos, what you got?
Direct mail. Anybody use direct mail for church online?
The question for those online was, does anybody still use direct mail
For
to get
church
people to church
online?
online? Yeah, like mailing them
Wow.
the link.
Capture the people that aren't
Oh, you said for church online.
We thought about, we've looked into buying Post-it notes to put on the paper, but it's the return to value. I don't know. I mean,
Right.
I haven't. My problem is I have no way of gauging that, so I don't know if I want to do it again.
General church would be different
General church,
than
yes.
church online, because the vast majority of my audience is international, and sending a direct mail to somebody in Albania isn't practical.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We do direct mail campaigns. Some in the traditional sense of you get a letter that says whatever, a message from the pastor or the bishop, what have you, and then it's usually have a give in there and something like that. We do a lot of those monthly, actually.
We Photoshop a fake baptism picture. No, just kidding. One thing I would say is where direct mail is very effective is if you use it for PR. So, a lot of PR companies charge an arm and a leg to get you an interview somewhere. Well, a lot of times you can do it very effectively for free. What I would do is write a very catchy letter and then put something in that envelope that makes the envelope bulge up. So something 3D. And you send it to them and make it, and they will open the letter now because it is interesting. Everybody likes getting packages. Nobody likes getting bills. And so we've done, my twin brother and I we're building a video game where you play through the whole Bible. So it's for kids. You play David and Goliath. You get to slay, you kill David or Goliath. Wow. Actually, well, so yeah, those kind of
Does
things.
David ever lose?
Well, you could go game over, yeah. if you don't aim right. But so what we do is then we buy the little keychains where you have like a little Nintendo controller. You send it to a journalist somewhere at a press thing, and then say, kids spend so much more time, this percentage more time on video games than they do in church. How effective could this be? And then they'll open it up. So you could do direct mail very effectively when you make it interesting as well. I think that goes for any form of media, really. If you make it interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would tell my one little nugget for this is to utilize what your church is already doing. So we have emails that go out, letters that go out all the time, and so we have talked to them about putting the live.seacoast.org link at the bottom of it, like the stationery. So we'd say if it's a prayer, like they send a prayer note out to all the prayer people to please pray for this, the pastor coming up, and if you get a chance, check out live.seacoast.org for our prayer night. We're sending an email out about baptisms. Hey, great, if you can't make it to church because of the baptisms, you can watch it live.seacoast.org. And so that was free, and it now goes out to all of the people that already go to church. And that didn't really take too much more than to ask. So, something.
Cool.
Right.
One thing that we did as far as internal marketing that sparked an idea, we had a magazine that we made up of all the internal stuff. And there was one time where the online campus got featured. And I got to give the entire DNA of why we are doing what we're doing, why I am so loud, why why we're setting up camp in the middle of the lobby, which is another tactic for internal marketing, with a big screen TV and just telling everybody of all the people that are joining us around the world, making it loud and party atmosphere and having it fun. All of those things are internal marketing. That's what it is, really. And what happened is that it causes people to come online and to invite their friends who aren't even in town or on the other side of the world, that are deployed or whatever, and so you end up getting more attendance that way from that natural viral ability from internal marketing, doing things a little bit different.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for being on the advertising panel today. And